Good afternoon. My name is Jeremy McFarland, and I appreciate y'all being here for this presentation. And first off, I just want to apologize for the technical difficulties we've had with our projected screen. So we've kind of made plans and shifted directions, and we're going to use the laptop here. Luckily, we don't have a lot of people, so we can do this in a small group. So first off, let me ask y'all, by a show of hands, how many of y'all set goals? All right, now how many of y'all create action plans to set those goals? Like on paper or just kind of mentally, just kind of set them up? All right, well today we're going to go over action planning and setting an action plan on paper for creating goals. So we're just a brief overview of what that is, and by the end of this presentation we'll be able to put on paper a goal that you might have, and at the end I'll give a handout and we can go through that. So we're going to go through what it is, we're going to talk about why it's important, and the types of goals that there are, as well as some benefits to creating an action plan, and as well as some excuses of why people don't do that. And like I said, we're going to follow up with creating an actual plan. We'll go through an example together and create something together. So first off, what is goal setting? And I guess dictionary definition of that is, goal setting is establishing a set of measurable objectives that can be achieved in a realistic period of time. Basically, it's just saying there's a goal that you set and you're going to achieve it in some amount of time. You know, it's not just some far off fantasy goal that, you know, could be achieved later on, or possibly, you never know. It's just something that you know is going to be done in a measurable amount of time. Goal planning or goal setting is used for personal development, and it also provides a sense of direction and purpose. It keeps you focused, keeps you in line. The types of goals that there are, there's short-term goals, and there's long-term goals that we know about, but some of us forget there's intermediate goals, which also could be considered milestones, for instance. So we'll go over these a little bit. Short-term goals are goals that can be achieved in the near future, goals that are not too far off in the distance. You know, it's measured mostly in days, weeks, and months, and possibly, depending on the type of goal that it is, it could be a year or two, depending on what the goal is. All right, intermediate goals, like I said, were kind of milestone goals. They're generally connected to a long-term goal, but it's just something that happens that, you know, you can say, hey, I've got that done, and now you're moving on to kind of in the same goal, but something bigger and better. So it's between short-term and long-term, and it's usually measured as a milestone. Long-term goals are goals that can be achieved over a long period of time, like in years, mostly measured in years. And they're usually more meaningful a lot of times, you know, like buying a house or having a baby or getting married. It usually is something that is down the line, and it means a lot more. And like I said, these intermediate goals that we use, we establish milestones with them, like a milestone for maybe getting married would be get a girlfriend. That's or a boyfriend in the lady's case. You know, buying a house could be saving up a down payment. That could be an intermediate goal to buying a house. All right, some of the typical goals that you see are financial or career-based goals. You know, we all have aspirations to do something with our lives, to get a career, to get a job, to do that. So we make goals for that. You know, and maybe I want to be a supervisor. You know, maybe I'm in manufacturing and I want to move up to supervisor. Well, that can be a goal that we can set. Or financial goals. You know, maybe I want to save this much for retirement. Or, you know, maybe I want to be making this much money by this age. Personal goals, like I said earlier, marriage, we can have as a personal goal. Educational goals, I know that's a good one. Going to college is generally a 4-year plan. You know, we can consider that a long-term goal and say, hey, you know, finishing my junior year is an intermediate goal. You know, or finishing each year, freshman, sophomore, junior, all the way up to that final long-term goal of graduating. We can have spiritual goals, you know, maybe we want to grow spiritually. We got health and fitness goals, you know, losing weight, and that could be a short-term or long-term goal, I guess. If you want to lose a lot of pounds, you can say, hey, my intermediate goal is to lose 10 pounds in 1 month, and my long-term goal is to lose 50 pounds over this next year. And we got setting goals, it creates direction and motivation, and it also increases development. Having that goal in your mind or on paper just kind of motivates you to continue to try to reach that goal. And some of the benefits of setting goals is it helps you make you aware of your weaknesses. I know there's been a few times where I've actually have set some goals and I'm able to identify a problem, you know. Maybe my goal is to fix a problem that I have personally or, you know, with my truck or something, you know. It helps me identify that there's a weakness somewhere. And it also helps you make you aware of your strengths. If you start going through your action plan and you say, hey, man, I can do this. There's potential areas in this action plan that I'm really strong at, you know, or maybe by going through this action plan, you find out that you're really good at doing something. Creates responsibility and accountability. And I really like this one a lot because having that piece of paper or having that goal that you're trying to achieve, it creates accountability towards yourself. You know, it's kind of constantly getting on yourself saying, hey, you need to get this done. You know, this is something that you want. This is something that you want to do. And by doing that and completing those goals, it creates responsibility. You know, you say, hey, I did this, I got it done, and I can move on and do more goals and just be a more responsible person. It's good guidance for decision making. You know, if you kind of deter off your goal a little bit, you can look back at your action plan and say, hey, I need to kind of make decisions that line up with my action plan. Keeps you focused. That kind of goes along with decision making. It just helps. It helps keep your eye on the prize, basically. You know, you kind of look at where you're going and you can see it. Creates a positive path to follow. And that kind of goes along with the other ones. It just keeps you focused and, you know, it just keeps you determined to get to where you need to go or where you want to go. Improves self-image. Achieving goals, whether they're big or small, helps you feel good about yourself. You know, you set out to do something, you did it, it's done, you feel good about it because you did it. And it helps you visualize and accomplish tasks. Just having that visual, if it's on a piece of paper, just having that visual piece of paper to say, hey, it's up there on your mirror and constantly visualizing what you want to do and accomplish. All right, some excuses for not setting goals is time constraints. You know, a lot of us just don't have time. You know, we're working too much, or we have kids, or we're married, or there's hundreds of things that we can always think of to say, hey, we just don't have time to do that. Fear of failure. I know a lot of people, they're just scared to fail. You know, they're scared to try. It's easier to not try than it is to try and fail, I guess, for some. And self-doubt. I mean, I guess that goes along with fear of failure. You know, you have self-doubt to create a goal, so it makes you afraid to do it. Fear of change. I know that's a big one. A lot of us are just very comfortable where we're at. It's kind of easier to just stay where we're at than it is to, you know, think of something and, you know, try to achieve that. And miracles. You might not understand that one too well, but a lot of us wait for miracles. I mean, personally, I believe in miracles, but at the same time, you know, I'm not just sitting around waiting for, you know, that career change, you know, and just say, oh, well, one day I'm just going to be a supervisor, but I don't have the credentials to do that, or I don't have anything to show that I can be a supervisor. I'm just sitting there waiting for